Welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to hop on tonight on our weekly Zoom call for challengers. And if you're listening to the recording, thank you for doing that. That's the beauty of it. These calls will always be recorded. So if you cannot make it live, we will always post them on Monday to be kind of our focus for the week. But if you can come live, it's always awesome to see you here. So I'm Kelly Brown, for those that are new, and some of us are coaches, some of us are challengers, all of us are here together on the same mission together. And what we like to do on Sunday nights is take some time to share with you guys what's helped us in our journey to give you a focus for the week. So we just finished up prep week. We took the week to talk about what programs we're going to do. We talked about nutrition and meal planning and personal development and all of this information. And then tomorrow is when we start to put it into practice. And whether this is your first challenge or your 30th challenge, I find prep week gives me a time to refocus every time, because toward the end of a 30-day group, there are areas that are slipping, and that's okay. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about tonight. So I'm going to share a little bit about my story, a little tip for you guys, and then a couple other coaches are going to hop on and share a few tips for you for the week too. And then in the post tomorrow, when it goes up on tomorrow morning, we ask that you take some time to think about what you're going to do this week to apply what we're talking about tonight. So for those of y'all that are going to share tonight, when I'm done, just raise your hand when you're ready to go, and then I'll call on you if that's cool. So one of the things that hit me last month in our last challenge group was one of our challengers, Janelle, is a coach on our team, shared this picture of a plaque that she bought at Hobby Lobby that says "Live by Grace, Not Perfection." And it hit me so hard, I went and bought the plaque the next day, and now it's hanging right here in my kitchen above my window. So I see it all the time. Because we always use this term, usually on this night, we would talk about progress, not perfection. And although I love progress, not perfection, and we do need to measure progress, not perfection, if we're not giving ourselves grace in the journey, we'll never see our progress. And that's what hit me. And so what I want to talk to you about tonight is, for whether you're a new challenger, whether you're recommitting, wherever you are, whether you're a coach, this applies to me too. And that's why I love this journey. I have been a coach. It will be 5 years this July. And I can tell you, when I look back at the Kelly of 5 years ago, I don't recognize that person anymore, but I love her because she started the journey. I'm not ashamed of where I was. I'm not embarrassed about who I was. I'm compassionate to that person, because I was a person who was longing to know I was enough as a wife and as a mom, who wanted to be healthy but not let it control my life, who wanted freedom from a lot of self-hatred I had. And I was really stuck in comparison and perfectionism. And I had 5 kids, yet I still felt very lonely all the time because I never let myself be seen. And so I was thinking about, when I was first a challenger, what would have helped me? And it's something that we've learned in this journey, and it's that we have to let grace in. And so I want to name 2 fears that are common in these challenge groups that will hold you back and prevent you from having progress. The first one is a fear of being judged, which will make you not want to post. It'll make you not want to contribute when you've had a bad day. It'll make you not want to say, I ate an entire pan of brownies because my husband's out of town and my 3-year-old was driving me crazy and I just couldn't take it anymore. That was me before. I've done that. Or I couldn't do it. I skipped all my workouts this week and I've been so ashamed I didn't want to share, because I feel like if I can't do my workout exactly how the program says, I'm not worthy to be in here. I want to tell you right now, that is not what this group is. It is a safe place to get real. And if you can't do that, if you're afraid of being judged, then you hide. So I want to challenge you to let that go and to step into the group and to be open to letting yourself be seen and to not be embarrassed. We have had people who have overcome a long-term addiction to soda, who they drink 10 Cokes a day, and it didn't happen overnight. And it had to happen with her slowly but surely, like cutting back and cutting back. And no one shamed her because she posted that she drank a soda. Like she shared where she was going. For some of us, it's going to be, I can only get 10 minutes of this workout done right now because this is where I'm at physically. And at 10 minutes, I was done. Well, then we're celebrating your 10 minutes. We're not looking at the 20 you didn't finish yet, because you will. And that's where grace takes over and perfectionism quits, like beating us up. I was doing the 80-day obsession program that came out in January. I was 4 months postpartum when I started it. 30 days into it, I had fully injured my back so bad, my PT told me, you're out, you can't do it. And for 2 weeks straight, all I could do were these, what seemed like kind of wussy, for a better word, like moves that hurt. And I was like, but I had to check my ego and still be present in the group and honor my body and say, you know what? I've had 7 children. My body's in a different spot. I'm going to cheer for those people. When they finished, I was so excited for them, and know that my time's not yet, but I'm still going to make progress and give my body grace. I'm not going to beat myself up because I'm not there. And I 5 years ago would have seen that as I failed, and I would have probably quit. But that's where I've learned to not be afraid of that, of judgment. And then the second fear is the fear of failure. And that's what I was going to say. Like, every time we fail, because we will, it's guaranteed, we get stronger. Muscle growth happens because you work out to the point of failure, to a sense. Now, that doesn't mean that we want you to work out so hard that you're like throwing up or feeling awful. You know what I'm saying? Like, goodness knows. That's not what I mean. But push yourself to the point of being uncomfortable enough that you can be proud of yourself. And that is going to help you overcome a fear of failure. Or push yourself to admit when you fail so that you're not ashamed of it, because shame has no place here either. And like, I almost at the point now, I'm learning to welcome failure a little bit. It still does smash my ego and I have to get up off the ground when I mess up. But at the same time, when I get more comfortable with sharing it, I realize that we join together. We are going to have a lot of similar struggles. You were not in this group by accident. You were connected with your coach for a reason, because you have similar things in common, and we all have similar things in common. And so when you share and overcome that fear of failure, you overcome like things that we have overcome and continue to as well. So you're not alone. You're in good company. But I think we hold back from being participants because of that fear of judgment and fear of failure. And so I just want to tell y'all, like, this is a safe place to struggle. And if you struggle with grace, then you're going to grow stronger. If you struggle with perfectionism, then you're going to stay frozen. And maybe you've done that in the last few groups. Maybe this isn't your first group and you're like, the last few groups, I started off strong and then I froze. Let this be the day that when you start to freeze, you tell your coach, I'm starting to freeze. Can you help me find a baby step? And you take one. And that's really what I wanted to suggest to you guys as we go into this, taking this 1 week at a time and then 1 day at a time. Christina did a great video yesterday on goals, and I loved how she wove her story in. I have known Christina since I started, so 4 years we've been working together. And it has been so cool to watch her journey and to watch her as like a single woman to a married woman to a mom, and how she's gone from like, you know, adjusting her exercise and overcoming her mindset and really now sharing. She'd never done a live video. It's the first time she's ever done one. And I was really proud of her. And what I was thinking about is how she's learning to give herself grace, because before she would get stuck and get frozen. And I love how she talked about taking it 1 day at a time, 1 week at a time. So make sure you have written down goals for these 30 days. You need to do that. But then make sure every week you're assessing, what can I do this week to get me closer? And then know that if you have a day that's going to happen where you slip up, instead of seeing it as like the world is ending or I got to wait till Monday to start over, just start over the next hour. You might need to start over 10 times in a day. I know as a mom, I do sometimes. I have like 5 do-overs. I mean, we all have them. We need to have them with ourselves. And so for me, right now, what I'm doing to apply grace, not perfection, I can easily make a list of 10 goals and be like, well, I'm going to read this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make a laundry list of goals. And then I go to set my calendar and I can't fit them all on the page because it's just too much at once. So what I want to ask you to think about tonight are, what are 3 things you can commit to do this week that are going to help you overcome whichever fear you think you're going to have to face? And how can you give yourself grace there? And everyone's going to kind of share their tips too. So maybe take from what we're sharing and pull some that will help you, or come up with your own. So for me, it's I'm food logging in my journal. Like, this is new. We used to just put our food log in the group, and now we're using a journal. And I've been doing this for about a week now, and I'm committing to writing my food down, because I'm trying to notice how food makes me feel. When am I eating and when am I not eating that maybe I need to be eating, like paying attention. And by writing it down, it's brought me actually a lot of freedom. So this is one of my goals, to really focus on writing down my food. The second thing this week is to get in 5 workouts. I'm doing my physical therapy workouts, and my program is PiYo. I'm not going to shoot for 6. My goal is to go for 5, because I know that's doable right now, and I'm going to modify them. I'm not going to try to be Superwoman right now. I'm going to honor where I'm at. And then the last one for me is in the morning to take 5 minutes to plug into the challenge group to read the coach post, because every morning there'll be a coach post, and to apply it. Because I don't care if I've been doing this 5 years, 10 years, or 30 days. I need to be connected and always be a challenger first. So as a coach, like, if I'm going to help you, I need to be doing what you're doing. So that 5 minutes in the morning, and then committing in the evening to take 10 minutes to post my thing in the accountability post, and then to encourage other people for 10 minutes. Because I also know that that's how I connect with other people, and everyone becomes real, is when I read y'all's days and I see your story, and it becomes about more than just me. And so those things help me learn to give myself grace, because when we get ourselves surrounded and we get out of the dark, you know what I mean, and we bring ourselves in the light, we start to see things in ourselves that are changing over time, because we're giving ourselves grace in a safe place where we can struggle. And know that you are going to be in this journey. It's not like a 30-day. I mean, you signed up for 30 days, but it's a lifetime of a journey. And you might start to notice little weeds that pop up in your life, and you feel like you got to pull them out. And I don't know if you've ever weeded a garden. Like, my husband and I worked in the yard today, and yesterday he started to pull up these weeds in this bush in the front. And all of a sudden he's like, I got to get to the root of this thing. And he started pulling on the root, and it went all the way down. For people who've been to my house, the whole front yard has got these like long thorn bushes, deep. I mean, he is covered in splinters all over and it was like this massive root. But he didn't just like go after it. He took some time, took a break, took some time, took a break. He's got Band-Aids on him to heal. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the point is, that's kind of this journey. We're pulling up roots and weeds as we also get stronger. So if you know that those fears are coming, those are the weeds, don't be afraid of them. And that's why I wanted to bring that kind of to attention tonight. So with that analogy and all that stuff, who would like to go next to share? Are you rubbing, or are you, wait, Rebecca, you want to go? I'll unmute you. I didn't know if you were like rubbing your eye or waving your hand.
I was, but I'll go.
Okay.
Oh, I'm home now. Oh my goodness. I'm Rebecca, for those of you who don't know me. And oh my goodness, Kelly, I can just so resonate with everything you said. I have to remind myself that grace has been such a relevant word in my life over the past, I think, all of 2018 for me. It's a lot of 2018 has been me wishing I was in a different place than I currently am. And so I get frustrated really easily when I feel that way. I have had some physical setbacks this year that have just come out of the blue. And I've been, trying to work on health stuff for 4 years, like focused on working on it for 4 years. And to not feel like I'm in a place where I thought I should be gets me frustrated. And so God's just been reminding me to give myself grace and to accept where I'm currently at, and to be okay with that place, and then move forward from there. So a couple of things, same thing with you. I'm telling myself my goals for this challenge group is to stay connected. And I love helping and I love walking alongside my challengers, but I have to remember that I need them to walk beside me too. And I have to be okay and humble enough to say, ladies, I'm struggling today. Like today was a hard day. And I think I posted in our group today that like this morning, oh, my Lanta, I just, wow, I was struggling. I can't fit my clothes the way I used to, and I refuse to go out and buy something else. And so I'm like, I'm going to find something, I'm going to make it work. And it was frustrating. It was a frustrating morning, to say the least. And so I'm running late for church, and I'm trying to change my clothes for the third time, and my daughter's standing there waiting for me to do her hair. And all I want to do is say all these things running through my brain, and I just bite my tongue because I'm like, I can't do that. I can't shame who I am and where I'm at with anything, and allow her to hear that, because number one, I don't want her to think that's okay. And I don't want her to grow up with the bad self-image that I grew up with. I want her to be positive about who she is and who God created her to be right now in this moment. And I checked myself and I thought, okay, well, if I feel that for my daughter, that's how God feels about me as his daughter. Like he wants me to be okay with right where I'm at in this current moment, and to love myself enough to say, okay, yeah, I'm not where I would like to be. And I know that I can be in a different place, but I know it's going to take work to get there. And how amazing is it? And how thankful I am that I have a place to do that with these groups. I have a place where I can feel loved and accepted for exactly where I'm at, and have people to come up beside me and support me as I move forward. So giving myself grace is, I think, a daily activity that I have to remind myself of. But staying connected to the group and just being honest with myself and being honest with them with where I'm at. Today was a tough day for me. Started out kind of rocky. It got better throughout the day. And then just remembering, like I think I shared just remember you're beautiful. You're beautifully and wonderfully made, and we are. And to remind myself that our image and the way we see ourselves so often is tied to our feelings and our emotions. But when we step back from those emotions and we look face to face at truth, the truth says that you're his child, that he created you, and that you're lovely and you're beautiful right now. It's not when you lose that weight, or when you can fit those clothes, or when you stop eating X, Y, and Z, or whatever it is. That's not when you're lovely. That's not when you're beautiful. You're already beautiful and lovely. And that's something that God is reminding me of daily. So if I could just give you any tips, like I'm telling myself every day, it's just to remember who you are right now, and that you are beautiful and you are lovely right now. And where you're going to be tomorrow is still going to be beautiful and lovely. Yesterday, you were still beautiful and lovely. That never changes. It's just God is allowing these, we talk about inside growth, outside, transformations, and there's so much that changes on the inside of you. And I think that in itself is the meat. And I feel like the external is just icing on the cake, So, yeah, just give yourself grace daily. Remember that you're beautiful no matter what, and we're all in this together.
Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, I hear you. I had an off day today too. I ended up going back to bed and starting over. That was awesome. Thank you so much. I love that quote. It's the Psalm 139. It's like such a great quote. And I'm going to hand it over to Lindsay. I want to add this really quick because it's something I learned. I did a Bible study, and it talks about how the word that God uses in that quote, this is where I'm going to mess up. To know, I think. Anyway, the word he uses is yada, which is what he used when he talked about Adam and Eve and how they knew each other. And it means like the most intimate kind of knowing. So it's like it's only used in times where God talks about knowing our hearts. And it's like the deepest form of intimacy to be known. And I was like, oh, it made me love that Bible verse even more than before. Yeah. So I love that. Lindsay's going to share. I'm going to hand it over to her.
Hey guys. So I apologize. I had to run downstairs because my husband came in and was like, I want to go to bed. So I'm back downstairs. But I loved what Rebecca said. And you figure that's kind of, a nice transition, because I love you're exactly where you're supposed to be in this moment. And you can't think of where you're going to be, next week even, or next month, or in a year from now. It's today, and you in a sense live for today. And that's kind of what I've had to even check myself, because you figure right now, those of you who don't know me, I'm 6 months pregnant. So my fitness journey has changed, and where I started this, and it's, I work full time. I have a little one at home. So my schedules can be very jam-packed and crazy. So for me, that grace, not perfection, has resonated so much over the last month or two, even, where I've fallen off, from the beginning stages of my pregnancy to where I wasn't able to work out. And it was like, wow, I'm not eating like I should be, because, I need some extra vegetables. I need some extra, meal planning in a sense, but what am I doing wrong? So giving yourself that grace is so important, that you have to realize you're going to have those days, you're going to have that hour that might just be like, oh my gosh, for me, it's like my son. Oh my gosh, my son was driving me crazy. I needed those 2 or 3 extra cookies today. Oh, well, that happens to all of us, and we're human. And you just say, okay, I'm not going to do it later on tonight. Tomorrow's a new day. But I figured I'll give you a couple tips for me. Yes, Kelly, ice cream. Yes, peanut butter and ice cream. For me, I figured I would give you some tips on the meal planning, or like just the nutrition and workout sense from my perspective, just because it's changed so much, and to give myself that grace. So what I've noticed, I'm able to, when it comes to meal planning, I try to keep everything really simple. My schedule changes routinely, so I kind of have to be able to maneuver around what my schedule looks like. So what I normally do is I'll prep in a crock pot, like chicken, or like 2 meats I pick on a Sunday. And then that's it. I don't think about what I'm doing. I just make sure it's cooked. So my chicken is in the crock pot, basic, bland probably. And then all I have to do is pop it in the oven and do something that night. So it's a quick 5-10 minute thing. And that has helped me tremendously to give myself that little edge, to make it that I can feel like I had that little win for the week. And that's what it is, like when you're talking baby steps, that this isn't supposed to be oh my gosh, you're eating one way and now you're completely changing it. It can just be one simple thing that you change. Even somebody was talking to me, a friend of mine, about like water. And I kind of said to them, it's tough for me sometimes to get in water, because not all of us love drinking water by itself, or, flavored, whatever it is. But, and I even told my husband this earlier today, if you want to make a little change, my biggest recommendation, grab that water bottle, put it next to your bed, and when you wake up in the morning, down that 16 or 20 ounce container before you even walk out the door. That way you got so much of you got maybe a third of your water that you're supposed to have finished. And that's something that you can definitely take with you as a win for that day, because have another one at lunch, have another one at dinner, and check, you just did it. And I know with my pregnancy, I know I'm supposed to be drinking more water, so it's definitely helped me see that little bit of an edge. So that's kind of like a couple little tips for like what I do for my food even, and how I've had to give myself the grace to just go back to the simple. And if it's one little thing that I'm changing that day, that's all it is. And then when it comes to workouts, be realistic. You can't think that, okay, you're starting this thing and you're going to go all in, which is great. It's a great mindset, but don't set yourself up for failure either. So if you know realistically 3 days getting your workout in, and I know for me, like I've had to step back and say, you know what, I might only be able to get 2 real workouts in, and maybe 2 days I'm just going to be walking. And that is okay. And I have to allow myself to say, if I only walk 15 minutes today, that's all I can do. And it's not I don't want you to think that it's an excuse, because we can't use it as an excuse, but you have to also listen to your body and know that it's okay to say, you know what, this week I've had a lot going on, or, you know, my husband was out of town, or I struggled with the kids and I only got a 15-minute workout in, or I only was able to do 20 minutes of this 30-minute workout before the kids started climbing on me. Okay, that's all it is. So those are a couple little things that I can share with you just from how my own journey has kind of changed over the last, say, 2 or 3 months even, just that I've had to listen a little more and have the grace to say it's okay. And of course, I am the biggest person that will say failure, you know, I don't want to show up and feel like a failure. So that's kind of what I always have to overcome. But this community has been key to be able to keep me going and say, you know what, this was a really rough day I had, or this was a rough week, but you know what, I'm hitting reset. And like Kelly said, you can hit reset multiple times during the day. You can hit reset on a Wednesday, on a Friday. It doesn't matter what day it is. So just keep that in mind.
That's awesome. Thank you. You're so good with the meal stuff too. Like, and I think that's so key, because I think we overcomplicate food in the journey because we think we're supposed to have it perfect right away. You know what I mean? And I love how you were sharing that, because I think all of us are going to have a certain area that we need to focus on more than another. So for some of us, it's the workouts, and for some of it's our food, and for some of it's going to be, you know, water or whatever that is. And I love how you shared that, because I think the key is, like you guys, like you said, Rebecca, starting where you are, and then you said, Lindsay, like making those steps, and then maybe get to the place where one day, like for some of us, like for me, I'll never forget doing the times I've been able to do a program like Core de Force one time and follow it, and actually follow the whole calendar. But it took me months to build up to that. And then when I did that, I'm like, yes, I did it. So it's not like a complacent place where we don't challenge ourselves, but it's like you're saying, like challenging you where you are to get you stronger, to get to where you want to go. And that's what this is all about. So that was really helpful. Thank you. And I'm there with the water. I bought this huge water bottle, which it's like 40 ounces. And my goal is to drink 2 a day. And I've been doing 1, but not 2. So I need to chug like half of it in the morning before I carry it around all the time though. It's like a weight, you know, but yeah, still win. Well then what I'd love for you guys to do tonight, I'm going to post this recording in the morning post. If you haven't already, make sure you watch the video Christina did with the goals, and you print off that sheet and you set your goals for 30 days. And then there's another sheet you can print, which I recommend, or use your journal to write what you're going to focus on this week. Like we just shared what we're going to focus on to help you get towards your goals. And then I'd like you to share in the post, in the comments, like, this is what grace, not perfection, looks like for me this week. And then at night, we all have like a poll that you like log your, you know, I got my workout, I drank my Shakeology, I drank my water. And then we'll post in the comments a photo of our food journal. And we like to track our wins, like the things we did well that day. But I think we might even say, like, how did you give yourself grace today to win? So that we have we tie that into the mindset of this whole week. But know that, you know, it's so good you're here. And that's like, we are so excited. I still get super pumped every time we start a new challenge. Like, I don't even know how many groups I've been in the last 5 years, and I still get excited about it every time. Like, I just do. And because we're always growing, and just know, like Rebecca said, like, I used to look back at where I was when I started, and I was like almost embarrassed. Like, I was I'm not anymore. Like, be proud of who you are now and be excited about where you're going. Because all that's gonna happen is, it's not so much you get changed in the sense that you become a different person. Whatever. It's more like the mud starts to get washed off, and the, you know, scars start to heal, and you become more of who you are. Like, you become more comfortable with who you are, so that you can be seen, you know. And that's our hope in these groups, is for health, body, mind, and soul. So thank you guys for being here. We will have another Zoom next Sunday evening, and it'll always be shared, but everything will be explained in the group. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to be here tonight. So I'll get this recording up, and see y'all in the group. Take care.